Hey, welcome to Christian Homestead. I'll give it a little bit of time for people to join and see the notification. If you're here, let me know who you are, where you're from. You got some sad news today you've probably already heard. I just barely heard about it. Let's see. Daruk says hello. Borky baby, oh man, sorry brother to hear this. Mary Jr. so sad. Z Barth says sad. Haley Portugal, hi. Megan Bow says I didn't know he was sick. Well, I knew I knew that he was sick with something. I don't know if it's the same thing that caused him to pass away. If you go to his YouTube homepage and go to community posts, the last post that he did was that he had a stomach bug. I don't know if that's related to what happened. Z-Barth says I'm going to try to make it to the funeral. Yeah, so I would have done this a lot sooner, but I was not, so this is our house that we've been renting since we moved here to Independence, and the day before Thanksgiving, the owners said that they were going to put the house up for sale. And I was kind of in a panic because, I was expecting to stay here for a few years. I didn't feel like moving again. Anyway, we decided not to buy this house. We bought another house that is like the same price, but still here in Independence. And so yesterday we closed on that house, started moving some stuff over. Today, we've been, moving all day. We hired some movers, and that got done pretty quickly. But we still had stuff that we had to bring over from this house, and I was just busy. And then I got a text from my friend Mindy. Oh, and she's here. Mindy is here right now. Mindy with Temples of Jesus. And there had been texts from like her and other people throughout the day, just like what looked like just regular stuff. But I saw as we were going to Walmart, we had to get some stuff for the house. I just happened to see her text, and she was like, "Oh no, Jared, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "So sorry? What? Today's a good day for me. You don't need to be sorry about anything. Today's a good day." I had no idea what she was talking about. And so I called her, and she informed me that Troy had passed away. And it's really surreal right now. It's very, very sad. He's basically the first, I think he's probably the first friend that I made after I started my YouTube channel. And we've been very good friends. We've had so many conversations and so many laughs. He was a funny man, and he was so easy to talk to, and he was so caring, and we both shared in similar YouTube frustrations and struggles, and so we were a real support for each other. And like I did not know that he was anywhere close to passing away. I will tell you this. He is now free of a lot of mental and psychological and emotional turmoil. Um, without really getting into it, I think I mentioned this before on the channel, but back in like September of 2024, things just like really got difficult for him. Um, really, really difficult to the point where just it was just a constant. I'm trying to choose words carefully, but it just seemed like he had like no relief, like no relief. And it just like progressively got worse. There was like a moment there where things kind of like felt like they were getting back to normal, but it was just real. It was really sad to see what was going on, and I was pretty worried about him. And I kind of questioned. I never like encouraged him not to, but I kind of questioned whether he should even like continue with YouTube because it seemed like it was just maybe adding to his distress. I mean, maybe not, but I know it probably didn't help. Um, but he was like just in this turmoil that you cannot really escape. Um, and so at this moment, we know that he is in the spirit world and he no longer has all the trials that come with having a mortal body, and he is in a state, I guarantee you, he is in a state of relief. Like finally, he can just be at peace all the way around. And he's gonna miss his family, but I, I don't like crying. I'm not a big fan of crying. Come on, Jared. So just say prayers for his wife Andrea, his son Nicholas. I don't know the names of his other children, but say a prayer for his family. But at the same time, he's with others from his family that have already passed on to the other side of the veil. And there's happy reunions. And I'm I'm jealous. I cannot wait to just be done with. Believe I'm fine. I don't need help. But I'm very much looking forward to moving past this life, and it just mortality sucks. But it's I know it's very good. We need to do this. It strengthens us. It gives us experience. I know, but I'm also not going to be sad when it's over. I don't think. So I guess we can look forward to being with Troy when he's part of the first resurrection at the time of the second coming. And he's been very influential. And there's missionary work that takes place on the other side of the veil. Maybe there's some kind of spirit world podcast that he can do over there. He can keep the same name. But it's just he just texted me yesterday at 11:47 a.m. Central, so Mountain Time, 10:47 Pacific, 9:47 Eastern, 12:47. Not everybody's good at time zones. Um, the last thing he sent me was am I able to post right now? No. I guess you can only do that when you're on your desktop. I was gonna post the he sent me this funny. It was a YouTube short of these like blue aliens that were just like doing this, like they were like joking about humanity. It was just a very lighthearted thing, and I thought it was funny. Um, I'll have to share it another time. You guys have to see that. But it was as recently. It hasn't even. I mean, yeah, it was less than 24 hours ago. When Mindy, when I was talking to Mindy, I was like, how, like, at, at first I was like, okay, when did he send me that text? And then I was like, oh, that was just yesterday. Me and Jenica were laughing about it. September Menzia, Earth Sermons by Troy in the Spirit World. The Haystack is here and says he texted me on Friday. It's really weird because when we moved here, okay, so we moved here at the end of February last year from near Wichita. We moved, and then our first full day in this house, we found out that Jenica's grandpa passed away. He was in like a home because he had pretty severe dementia. And that first full day living here in Independence, that's when we found out that he passed away that day. And that struck me as just really interesting, like so many other things when it comes to spiritual things. I didn't feel like it was coincidence. And the thoughts that I had was maybe, because I don't think he knew that we were in Missouri. The last time that we saw him was when we were, well, no, there was a family reunion, but I think that was the only exception. Aside from that, the last time that we saw him was when we were living with him in Utah. I was going to school for accounting, and then without getting into all the details, I shifted and I decided to get an aircraft dispatcher license. And so I did. I got my license, and they invited us to come and live with them for a few months to, save up money, pay down debt, just get in a better financial position, to move forward to wherever we were going to live after that. So we lived with them, and, a few years later, he got dementia really bad to where he didn't recognize people. I could have sworn Jenica's cousin said that he was getting Alzheimer's, but at the very least, it was dementia. The point is, I don't think he knew that any of his grandchildren had moved to Missouri. And I wondered if, his passing coincided with that, and he was able to, be here with us and see a branch of his posterity come here. I don't know if we're gonna stay here. I'm really tired of the moving. I'd rather just, now that we bought this house in another part of Independence, I want to stay here. I don't want to move for a while. I could see us staying here or just staying in Missouri. So that kind of made sense. You know, I feel like the Lord hits multiple birds with one stone. I'm not saying that he passed away because, we moved here, but I think it was coordinated in such a way to where he could see us from the spirit world. So, here we are. Like I said earlier, I'll just catch you up. The day before Thanksgiving this year, we found out that the owners of this house wanted to sell it. And I was in a panic because I was like, do we even have money to move? For the panic was real for a couple days there, but then we started to formulate a plan, and we're like, oh no, that's fine. We can buy a house. We could buy this house, or we could look for another house. And we found one, and we closed on it yesterday, and we started to move our stuff over. But today was like the big. And just one second, honey.
Am I being too loud?
No, Heather tried to call. I don't know if it's that Heather, but call Valencia in case you're trying to get a hold of us. So today was like the moving day, and we've had some hiccups with the internet, getting it switched over. Even though they told us that the new house is set up for it, we're gonna have to wait for a technician. So I have a video scheduled for tomorrow, but after that, I can't guarantee anything. And then we needed some more lighting in our master bedroom, so we went to Walmart to get some floor lamps. And that's when I got that text from Mindy, finding out that Troy had passed away. Well, it wasn't until I called her. She just texted me saying, "Oh no, Jared, I'm so sorry," and I had no idea what she was talking about. I thought like maybe something bad had happened to me, like on my channel. Maybe like somebody attacked me, or did my channel get taken down? Like what are you, Mindy? What are you talking about? But it was Troy. He passed away the day that we moved into this new house. So my wife's grandfather, on our first full day living here in Independence, and now Troy, the day that we, bought this house and now have property here that we own. Yeah, that's a good point. I should, if you want, I should have pointed this out. I'm kind of like coming from a place feeling like everybody already knows because I'm so late to talking about this. But if you go to his channel, his wife and his son posted a video letting everybody know that he passed away. All that I know is that it was from a sickness, in that he passed out and he passed away. Sean says, thanks for having a live chat. Just saw the news and so sad about Troy. I always felt he was very authentic. He was. His heart was in the right place. He was a very good person. He always wanted to do what was right. He was very funny. Put in the chat, or if you're watching this afterwards, put it in the comments. What's your favorite memory of Troy? My favorite memory is, well, just in general, those early days on my channel when we would do interviews together, because they're so fun. He was so fun to talk to. September Menzia says, yes, he can help influence from the veil here and there to be here as an angelic guardian. Goblin Camper says, Troy lived in Fresno, California. My own parents met in Fresno in the 60s. Bear asks, is there a GoFundMe for his family? I don't know. But Troy, you can send him like on his channel, you can send him super thanks, super thanks. I think he had a Patreon set up. I think he also had Vimeo and PayPal. So just like go watch one of his videos and go to the description box, and I'm sure all that stuff like you can donate there. Julie says, I didn't watch him much, but the videos I did watch were great. He gave me a different perspective, and I know he will continue his work on the other side. Yeah, he definitely will. It's just gonna feel so. It's gonna feel so empty without him. I can't believe. Like I'm still like in shock, and like everything's settling right now. Like I'm never gonna text him again. I'm never gonna talk to him on the phone again. I'm not gonna see any more of his videos and the things that he's interested in and talking about. He interviewed so many people. He was more into doing interviews. He was very social. He had a lot of friends. Z-Barth says, him and I had a number of phone calls, and he would often sing this one particular commercial jingle. That sounds like Troy. For a while there, in our text messages, he would do this this GIF of Ronald McDonald going like this. He had just a funny sense of humor like that. Goblin Camper says, I'm sure he'll be rewarded for the goodness he brought into a fallen world. Yeah. I feel like he brought a lot of joy and just... He was someone that you could just listen and have it be relaxing and just, have it be lighthearted, and he loved to joke and laugh. The preacher says, well, his patriarchal blessing said he would preach in the spirit world. Oh, if he shared that, I must have missed that. Marinfo says, I'm so sad to hear this. Troy will be missed. Praying for his family from Argentina. Yeah, we're all gonna miss him. There's just this void, in this LDS niche. His channel, I think he started it in 2019, I want to say. But he's been doing it longer than most. Dr. Seuss says he was the OG. Yeah, he was. He was kind of like, I don't know how many generations there's been since him, but I would classify him as like Generation 1 LDS podcasters. I know Scripture Central, I think that they started back in 2016. And there's been a lot of channels, but a lot of the ones from that time have either quit or they're not really around anymore. I think about Called to Share. I don't know how long he's been around. I met him when I went to Utah in October 2024. He's a good guy. He's been doing it for a long time. He's definitely generation one. I don't know if I'm generation one or generation two. I started in 2021. If I am generation one, then I'm probably toward the tail end of that. Zbart says, so I got a good laugh from him each time. For those asking, the most we know is that he had some kind of stomach ailment. Yeah. I mean that from from what I know, that's what he posted under the community posts on his channel, that he had a stomach ailment, a stomach bug. And then in the video that Andrea and Nicholas put out, just he had been struggling with some illness for the last few months. I don't know if it was the same one. It probably was. Debbie Whitaker says, I loved his interviews with Joel Skousen. 4MM Onyx says, RIP, RIP, rest in peace. Julie says, he will be preaching in the spirit world with Nelson and Holland. What a combo. Yeah. Gosh. I don't want to be thinking about this or having this live stream right now about this. I can't believe that this happened. Matthew Jones says, Troy's wife and kids are in our hearts and prayers. Thanks for the Savior who brings peace and hope to our lives. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, well, thank Mindy for letting me know when she did. I probably wouldn't have known because I didn't plan on looking at my phone all day today. I was focused on moving. If you're just joining, we're moving today. This is the house that we've been renting since February of last year. And we're moving into a new house that we just bought and closed on yesterday. And then Mindy says, I found out from Caitlin and Jen in our group text. Yeah. CB says, I'm so sorry for his family. I'm guessing that they're going to feel a lot the same way that they would know even better than I the turmoil that he's been going through. I don't know how long, probably most of his life, but it's just been, from the little bit that I know, from when I started my channel till now, it just seemed to get worse and worse, and there's just there's a lot of relief for him and for his family. Brandon Forbush says, no way, I'm so sorry and shocked. Troy was and is a seeker of truth. He's in God's hands now. Yeah. The haystack. I'd looked for him and found out he was at the hospital. Were you saying something? No. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Well, I'm probably going to wrap this up. Any other thoughts before I go? Nathan Hatch, I'm so sad. I watched his channel often until recently. Way too young to go. Yeah. He was in his 50s. That is too young to go. 4M Monic says, tell Jen Ammon says hi. She heard.
Hi.
Um, H.J. Fernie. My friend who recently got back from his mission said his mission president was interviewed by President Nelson and said they were talking about the second coming and work that he had to do. Mindy says, get some good rest. Yeah, I'll try. We gotta get back to the new house and set up our bed. And this has just been, it's been an emotional day. It's been a good day. I'm excited to live in this new house. Even though I didn't want to move so soon, it is nice to get back to owning a home. We rented this house that we're in right now because back in Kansas, it got to a point where we needed to get out of that house. We needed a bigger house for our mostly for our girls who are now teenagers. They needed more space, and so we're just like, okay, let's just rent a house right now so we can go, and that'll be good anyway because then we can more easily show the old house for people to come and look at it. And it was kind of a risk because taking on two payments for um, paying for a mortgage and for rent, but thankfully it sold pretty quickly, like quicker than I thought. It was a major blessing. But I wanted to stay here for several years and just chill. But there's still like that discomfort from not owning the house, and I don't know. It's just like something that's always like in the back of your mind, like I don't own this place, and so now I'm getting a lot of relief from owning a house here. Twin 2 says, rest in power, Brother Troy. Betty Horn says, hi, Jenica. Cindy Lou says, I'm so sad. He is a good person. One of my top podcasts. My age, dang it. And then H.J. Fernie says, and he said they had 60 years probably before he came, and President Nelson said more like 50 months, then winked. Goblin Camper, where are you moving? Are you still in Missouri? Oh yeah, sorry. We're still in Independence. Thankfully, yeah, that was one thing. I was like, oh, are we done with Independence now? Because I really have enjoyed living here. Um, but no, there were plenty of houses, and we found one that we liked, and we're staying in Independence. Angel Domingos, when I saw his family's video, I immediately thought, I wonder if Jared knows. Glad you did a place for us to express our gratitude for Troy. Yeah, well, make sure to pray for his family and loved ones. Um, if you can, maybe donate to them. Go to Troy's channel. Like I said, I think he has PayPal and Venmo and stuff, and maybe can support his widow and his children. Price Tyson, Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, the Holy Ghost, Troy, and your loved ones beyond the veil in the spirit world love you and are your best friends, and angels you will always have. Price Tyson, you'll see Troy again, but until that day, you can feel him in your heart. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if he has been here with me, but I felt like when I was in the Walmart, he felt pretty close, like for me. Um, Afa Sitake or Sitek or Afasitek says, I will miss him lots. Kim Rowland says Troy was not ashamed to be a watchman and a witness. No, no, he wasn't. I feel like he got so good with his channel. I first came across his channel. I mean, I may have still been living in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. Back in those days, I was doing graphic design, and the type of stuff that I was doing was very monotonous, and I wanted stuff to listen to. And back then, in like 2020, 2019, 2018. Well, I guess it probably would have been 2018, or sorry, 2019, or yeah, it was probably 2019, Jared. There was like a lot of YouTube channels talking about secret combinations and stuff like that, and I got interested in that kind of thing. But I wanted to hear, the perspective of somebody that's a member of the church, and he was one of the only ones talking about those things. And I remember back then, like he wore like a shirt and tie, but I think a lot of people did because it's taken time for LDS podcasting to kind of like evolve and develop, and so back then you just wanted to represent the church well, and we still do, but but things kind of like loosened up over time, and he really put a lot of time and effort into his channel and eventually got it looking just really good. I always felt like Troy had a good like radio talk show type of voice. I feel like he's really good with talking. I don't feel like I am. It's one of the reasons why I don't like to do interviews. I feel like he's a good interviewer. Mukiel says, yes, Troy deserves it. He was his biggest. Troy deserves it. He was his biggest cheerleader, and I feel like it took a toll on him too. Oh, I must have missed something. H.J. Fernie says, rest in peace, Troy. Deborah McNaughton says, Jared, you do a really good job. I hope so, because sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I do not know. I try and just I want to know things, so I do research and then I report what I find, and I try and stay on top of news and do the best that I can to analyze things, and just hopefully it's not too boring or offensive or hard to listen to.
Sorry for all the noise.
That's okay. I feel like I do a good job. Like in a lot of ways I feel like I do a good job. So I just try and focus on that. Zebarth says Jared made sure him and I had a prayer over the phone on Zoom before recording a video. Price Tyson, I liked watching his videos on YouTube. He served his mission in Sandy, Utah in 1992. I live in Sandy, Utah. I was baptized in 1992. Neat. Goblin Camper says he loved to attend the Fresno Temple. Okay. Well, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I said sorry about the noise.
Oh, it's okay. All right, guys. Well, I need to go. Sorry, this is a crazy day. Um, there's still a lot to process, and uh, this is very sad, but we have hope. We have hope in Jesus Christ. We know that Troy is going to live again, and that he's in a good place, and that the Lord is going to take care of his family. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.